The station known as Clear Ring floated in quiet space between busy trade lanes. It was old, wide, and calm, built in a time when the galaxy believed in strong walls and slow change. Many species worked there under the Galactic Safety Council. They trusted rules, systems, and long meetings. Humans were new to this place. They were allowed simple jobs and watched with polite doubt. Evan worked in a narrow service hall near the outer frame. He was a human engineer, average in height, plain in looks, and calm in tone. He wore a faded work suit and carried a small metal case filled with tools. His task for the day was easy. He had to check a deep space energy relay and make sure its readings stayed inside safe limits. The relay was old, but it had been quiet for years. The hall was silent except for the low hum of power moving through thick cables. Lights along the wall glowed soft blue. Evan read the panel numbers and nodded to himself. Everything looked fine. He opened his case and took out a small wrench. He leaned closer to tighten a loose brace that had been flagged by the system. As he shifted his weight, the wrench slipped from his hand. It fell, hit the metal floor, bounced once, and slid under the relay housing. Evan blinked and let out a short breath. "Whoops," he said. The word was soft. It carried no fear. To Evan, it meant a small mistake, nothing more. The station did not agree. The relay lights changed color. Blue turned to white. Then white turned to red. A deep vibration moved through the floor. Warning tones echoed down the hall, slow at first, then fast. Evan frowned. He knelt and reached for the fallen wrench. The moment his fingers touched the metal, the relay panel burst to life with symbols and lines he had never seen before. Across the station, ancient systems woke up. In the central command chamber, council members from many worlds looked up as alarms filled the air. Screens flashed with codes that had not been used in centuries. One by one, old records opened themselves. A tall, thin being named Lyra read the first line and felt a chill move through her core. The text was marked as historical risk data. The record spoke of humans. It did not describe them as strong or violent. It described them as calm in moments when calm should not exist. It spoke of small words said before great disasters. One word appeared again and again in the files. Whoops. Lyra turned to the others. The human sector has triggered a legacy response. A heavy shelled being beside her shifted in fear. Is that word in the logs? Lyra nodded slowly. Another screen showed the energy relay. Power levels were rising, but not in a normal way. The relay was pulling energy from nearby space itself. The system classified the event as unknown but growing. The council did not wait. By shared vote and deep fear, they issued a full evacuation order. All ships were told to leave Clear Ring and the nearby zone at once. No debate, no delay. Sirens screamed through every level of the station. Doors unlocked. Signs flashed in dozens of languages. Evacuation routes lit up bright yellow. Evan stood as the sound reached him. His eyes widened. "That seems like a lot," he said to no one. Crew members from other species rushed past him. Some shouted warnings. Others did not look at him at all. Fear moved faster than thought. Evan checked his wrist display. The relay was still active. The wrench was still under the housing. He felt a knot form in his stomach. He opened his comm unit. "Control, this is Evan in outer service. I dropped a tool. The relay reacted. I think it triggered an old failsafe." There was no answer. He tried again. "I can fix this, I just need time," Static replied. The vibration grew stronger. A crack ran along the floor panel near his boots. Evan stepped back and took a slow breath. He knew this feeling. It was the moment when a problem was bigger than expected but still within reach. He knelt again and pulled the wrench free. The metal was warm now. He placed it aside and looked at the relay panel. Symbols moved like flowing water. Energy levels climbed past known limits but did not explode. The system was holding itself in a strange balance. Evan spoke softly. "Okay, that is not great." In command, the council watched the readings from far away as evacuation ships jumped to safety. Lyra noticed something odd. "The human is still there," she said. Another member replied, "Why has he not fled?" Lyra checked human behavior files. She found notes about problem response. Humans often stayed close to danger not from courage alone but from habit. "They fix things when they break," Lyra said, "even if they cause the break." The station shook again. A low boom echoed through space, not loud enough to destroy but strong enough to warn. Evan steadied himself and accessed manual control. The system resisted. It did not expect touch. It expected commands from long-dead software. He smiled, thin and tired. "Guess it has been a while," he said. Outside, the stars remained calm. Inside, fear spread. And in a quiet hall near the edge of the station, a human worked on a problem that began with a simple word. The evacuation orders moved faster than any one being could understand. Ships detached from the station, engines flaring, leaving bright trails in the dark. Pilots shouted into comms, aliens pressed buttons, and the station itself seemed alive with fear. Clear Ring was still standing, but the readings were growing worse with every second. Evan worked carefully, leaning over the relay. He adjusted a small circuit and watched the energy readouts. The numbers jumped, then fell, then jumped again. Sweat ran down his face. His hands shook slightly, but he stayed calm. He had done similar work on Earth, though nothing like this. This was bigger, older, and far stranger. Nearby, another human arrived. Mira *** was small, fast, and precise. She carried a scanner and a toolkit. "I thought you might need help," she said, voice steady despite the alarms. Evan nodded without looking up. "It's complicated. The system is reacting to me being human. The council thinks it's dangerous." Myra frowned. "Then let's fix it before it becomes dangerous." Across the station, the alien council monitored the situation. Screens flickered, showing humans at work. Most members were stunned. Their eyes widened at the sight of humans standing calmly in the middle of disaster warnings. One of them, Core ***, a broad, scaly creature, hissed in disbelief. "They are still there," Core said, claws tapping on the console. "All protocol says they should evacuate." Lyra looked at the display. "They are not evacuating because they want to act. They are responding to the problem." "This is unacceptable," Core said. "We cannot allow such behavior. It defies logic." Back at the relay, Evan and Myra moved quickly. They identified a set of old failsafes designed centuries ago. The manuals were gone, but their instincts guided them. Humans often relied on creativity and observation rather than rigid rules. This gave them an edge here. Evan touched a panel. Sparks jumped, but he kept his focus. Myra scanned for dangerous energy flows. The relay hummed loudly, reacting to every move they made. Energy ripples passed through the station, causing lights to flicker and floors to shake. Suddenly, a warning panel blinked red. The system had reached a critical threshold. A timer appeared on the display, counting down fast. Myra gasped. "Evan, the failsafe is about to activate fully. If it does, it could tear the station apart." Evan swallowed hard. "Then we stop it manually. That's our only choice." He moved to a small hatch, opened it, and started rerouting wires. Myra handed him tools, her hands steady. The two worked together, moving faster than any automated system could. They relied on simple logic, quick thinking, and their trust in each other. The aliens outside could not understand this. Their systems valued procedure. Humans valued adaptation. In command, the council members whispered to each other. "They are doing what no automated protocol would allow," one said. "Why?" another asked. "They are humans," Lyra said softly. "They do not see a problem as an end, they see it as a puzzle." The countdown ticked closer to 0. Floors shook violently. Hatches rattled. Evan ducked as a panel exploded in sparks. Myra held him steady. "Keep going," she said. Evan rerouted a main power conduit, blocking an overload. The readings fell slightly, but the system still pulsed with dangerous energy. He adjusted another control. The numbers stabilized more, then started rising again. He muttered, "It's like it's alive. It knows we are here." Myra frowned. "It doesn't know, it just reacts to the inputs. We are giving it new ones." A loud alarm rang through the station. It was deeper and harsher than before. It indicated an unstable energy surge was imminent. Outside, Council ships slowed and waited. Some hovered in orbit, fearing too close an approach. Evan and Myra kept working. Every movement mattered. One wrong touch could set off a chain reaction. Sparks flew around them. Panels glowed hot. The station creaked under stress. Then Evan paused. He realized the system was responding to fear, not logic. Humans stayed calm, but the system seemed to sense hesitation in alien energy readings. It had been designed to react to caution, not courage. "This is why the Council panicked," Evan said. "They saw fear, but we are not afraid," Myra nodded. "Then we use that, we show it stability, steady input, no panic." They worked together carefully and deliberately. Panels clicked, energy flows balanced, and the station shivered, then calmed slightly. The countdown slowed, dropping from seconds to minutes. The humans were winning small victories against a system older than any species on the station. In command, Lyra leaned forward. "They are doing it. They are slowing it down," Kor growled. "They should not be able to do this. It is impossible." "Humans are not like the rest of us," Lyra said. "They solve problems we cannot imagine." Back in the hall, Evan wiped sweat from his brow. He looked at Myra. "Ready for the next step," she nodded. "Let's finish it." They moved to the main relay core. Sparks arced across the floor as they worked. Energy levels were high, but the humans were higher. They adapted to every change the system threw at them, staying calm, moving fast, and thinking clearly. Outside, ships held their positions, waiting to see if the humans would survive. Council members watched in disbelief as the relay stabilized, even as panels continued to spark and flash warnings. Evan and Myra were the calm eye in the storm. They worked quickly, rerouting power, venting energy manually, and blocking dangerous surges. Every adjustment mattered. Every second was life or death. Finally, a soft click sounded. The energy pulse that had threatened the station slowed. Numbers on the panel dropped into safe ranges. Lights returned to normal. Floors stopped shaking. Evan leaned back and exhaled. Myra smiled, exhausted but relieved. "We did it," she said. Evan shook his head. "We have not finished. We need to monitor it. It can spike again." In command, the Council was silent. For the first time, they had no words. They had expected failure. They had expected chaos. Instead, they saw humans standing calmly in the middle of disaster and bringing it under control. Lyra finally spoke. "They are not like us. We have underestimated them." Kor could only hiss and shake his head. Evan and Myra returned to the main hall. The station was still buzzing with alarms, but they were faint. Humans walked calmly among aliens who stared in awe. Some whispered, some froze. No one could ignore the fact that two humans had faced an ancient system and survived intact. The part ended with the station quieting slowly. Outside, evacuation ships hovered, waiting. Humans moved toward the problem, not away from it. And in doing so, they changed how every species on Clear Ring viewed courage, intelligence, and danger. In the silence that followed the alarms, the Galactic Safety Council began to rethink everything they knew about humans and the power of a calm mind in the face of disaster. The station was alive with tension. Even after Evan and Myra had slowed the dangerous surge, alarms continued to flash, warning lights glowed, and the faint hum of unstable energy filled every corridor. Humans moved with purpose, while aliens hesitated, unsure whether to follow or flee. The Galactic Safety Council monitored from afar, their screens reflecting worry, confusion, and a touch of awe. Evan wiped sweat from his forehead and looked at the relay. He could see the problem was far from over. The energy flow was erratic, unpredictable, but now it was manageable. He turned to Myra. "We've slowed it, but the core is still unstable. If we don't do more, it could spike again." Myra nodded. "We need to go to the heart of the relay. We have to stabilize the main conduit manually." The path was dangerous. Floors warped from heat, panels flickered, and sparks leapt across open wiring. Other humans followed cautiously, ready to assist. One of them, Jace Asterisk, carried a portable power shield to protect them from surges. Another, Tina Asterisk, had a diagnostic device capable of reading energy fluctuations faster than any alien scanner. As they moved toward the core, an alarm rang out louder than before. The station shuddered. Evan held up a hand. "Careful, it reacts to touch." Every step mattered. Each human moved with focus, relying on instinct as much as skill. Aliens in the hallways stared, some frozen in disbelief. They were used to rigid rules, but humans broke them. They improvised, they adapted, and they stayed calm under pressure. In the control chamber, Lyra watched with wide eyes. "They are moving into danger willingly," she said. "They are not afraid," Core hissed. "They will fail. This is impossible." The humans reached the main conduit. It pulsed with energy like a living thing. Evan knelt and began working on a junction box, carefully adjusting circuits to divert energy flow. Sparks jumped around him, but he did not flinch. Myra handed him tools as Tina analyzed the readings. Jace positioned the shield to protect them from surges. The energy pulsed higher. The station shuddered. Lights flickered violently. A panel exploded nearby, sending sparks across the floor. One human shouted, ducking for cover, but Evan remained calm. "It's responding to panic," he said. "It senses hesitation. Stay steady." Myra's hands moved fast, scanning for dangerous spikes. She found an unstable line and rerouted it manually. The surge lessened slightly. Tina adjusted a control, and a low hum indicated energy was being stabilized. Outside, the council was silent. They had never seen anything like this. They had expected humans to panic, to flee, or to fail. But instead, humans were proving something new. They were unpredictable, yes, but reliable when it mattered. Evan adjusted another control. Sparks flew again, but he stayed steady. "Almost there," he muttered. The countdown displayed on the relay panel ticked closer to 0. If the failsafe fully activated, the station could be destroyed. Time was slipping fast. Myra looked at the human team. "We can do this. We just need one more push." They moved together, manually rerouting energy, blocking dangerous conduits, and venting pressure. Every action required precise timing. A wrong move could be catastrophic. The station trembled. Halls cracked. Power flowed chaotically. Evan and Myra stayed focused. Other humans followed their lead, assisting wherever they could. Sparks arced dangerously close, but no one faltered. Their calmness seemed to stabilize the relay in a way the aliens could not understand. Then, suddenly, a major surge hit. A blinding flash of light filled the hall. The humans shielded themselves. The core pulsed violently, energy spreading through the station. Aliens in the hallways screamed and ran, but the humans stayed, adjusting and redirecting energy. Slowly, numbers on the panel began to stabilize. The core's pulsing slowed. The blinding light dimmed. Evan and Myra exchanged a quick glance. "It's holding," Evan said. "For now." The humans took a deep breath. The danger was not fully gone, but it was manageable. The station was still standing, the core stabilized, and the humans had proved that they could face extreme danger without losing control. In command, Lyra finally spoke. "They have done the impossible. They have faced the relay alone and survived." Core hissed, silent for the first time. He could not deny what he had seen. The humans were different. They did not follow fear, they followed reason and instinct combined. They acted when others fled. The human team returned to the main hall. The station's alarm still flashed, but the core was stable. Aliens who had been frozen in fear looked at them with new respect. Some whispered, some simply stared. The council's predictions had failed. Evan glanced around. "We need to keep monitoring. It could spike again." Myra nodded. "And we will be ready." Outside, the evacuation ships held their positions, unsure what to do next. The humans had faced the threat head-on and survived. For the first time, aliens realized that humans did not just follow rules. They created solutions when rules failed. The part ended with the station quieting slowly, humans at work in the comm center, and the council beginning to question everything they knew about courage, intelligence, and the unpredictable nature of humanity. The Galactic Safety Council understood, finally, that a human in control could face disaster with calmness that no automated system, no procedure, and no alien logic could match. The station had survived. And humans had changed the way every species on Clear Ring would think about problem-solving from that moment onward. Clear Ring Station was quiet now, but the echoes of alarms still rang faintly through empty halls. Humans moved among the corridors, checking panels, rerouting minor energy flows, and inspecting areas damaged by the previous surges. The station was scarred but intact. It had survived a threat that could have destroyed it completely. The humans who had faced the danger were tired, covered in sweat and burns, but calm. Evan walked slowly along the main hall, his eyes scanning every panel and light. He still felt the pulse of energy from the relay, faint but alive. Myra followed, holding a portable scanner. The rest of their human team moved carefully, helping with minor repairs and ensuring the station remained stable. Every action was measured. Every decision mattered. In command, the Galactic Safety Council watched silently. The Council had expected destruction, yet here was the station, whole and functioning. Humans had faced a system older than any of them, and it had responded not with chaos, but with order guided by human hands. Lyra leaned forward, her fingers tracing the outline of the display. "They have survived," she said. "They have calmed the relay," Core hissed quietly. "It should not be possible, no species could do this." "They are humans," Lyra replied. "They act differently. They see mistakes not as endings but as challenges." Back in the station, Evan and Myra reached the main relay room. The core glowed softly, energy stabilized but still pulsing faintly. Evan knelt and touched the panel. It responded to his hands, but in a way different from before. Now it seemed to understand caution mixed with calm action. It did not surge uncontrollably. It did not react violently. It had learned from the human's approach. "This is strange," Evan said softly. "It's like it's listening." Myra scanned the energy lines. "It's not listening. It's responding. It reacts to stability, to steady action. That's why our calmness worked." They worked methodically, checking every conduit and junction. Sparks were gone. Humming was quiet. The station felt almost peaceful, but the humans knew the danger had not completely passed. They had survived the worst of the surge, but the relay remained unpredictable. It would need constant monitoring until fully understood. Other humans checked communications. Messages from evacuation ships reached them, reporting the same observation. The station was still intact, the humans inside were alive, and no automated system could explain why it had survived. Evan spoke to the team. "We've done the hard part. Now we need to monitor, document, and make sure nothing else triggers a spike." The humans split into smaller groups, inspecting sections of the station. They worked quickly but carefully, aware that any careless action could restart instability. Myra moved to an auxiliary control panel and began logging energy fluctuations. Tina recalibrated diagnostic instruments, while Jace inspected shielding systems. Evan focused on the main relay, watching numbers and lights with quiet concentration. Meanwhile, the council debated what had happened. "They are not following fear," Lyra said. "They adapt, they solve, they do not run from danger." A smaller winged member of the council, *fear*, spoke hesitantly. "So this is how humans operate. They act when others flee. Their calm prevents catastrophe, Lyra nodded. Yes, and that is why evacuation was unnecessary. They would have faced the problem even without orders. Kor remained silent, still unable to comprehend what he had seen. Humans had defied logic, rules, and predictions. They had done what no other species could. Back in the relay room, Evan adjusted the final conduit and the main energy readings fell into safe ranges. The core pulsed gently, stable and under control. He stepped back, rubbing his hands together. Myra smiled, fatigue written on her face. "We did it," she said softly. Evan shook his head. "Not fully, but close enough for now. We need reports and constant monitoring." The humans moved through the station, repairing minor damage and restoring systems. Alien crew members watched from a distance, unsure whether to approach. They had been taught fear and procedure. Humans had taught them a new lesson. Calm and methodical action could solve problems that protocols could not. As the hours passed, the station grew quieter. Humans remained alert, watching the relay and systems. The council observed in amazement, realizing that humans were more than new members. They were a species capable of solving problems others could not even imagine. Their behavior defied rules, but it was effective. Finally, Evan walked to a viewing deck overlooking the stars. The dark void was calm, filled with distant points of light. He turned to Myra. "The station is stable for now, but we've learned something bigger. Humans handle mistakes differently." Myra nodded. "They don't panic. They adapt. That's why the relay responded to us and not automated systems. We treat errors as warnings, not ends." In command, Lyra wrote a report. Humans had changed the perception of the council. If a human said a word like "whoops," it did not indicate failure. It indicated awareness, a chance to act, and an opportunity to prevent disaster. It was a lesson the galaxy had never learned before. The part ended with the station quiet, humans at work, and aliens slowly realizing that the calm actions of a few humans had saved an entire station. The Galactic Safety Council began to rethink its rules, strategies, and assumptions about life in the galaxy. Humans had changed the game without even trying, proving that calm, steady, and methodical action could succeed where fear and rigid rules would fail. The stars outside Clear Ring were calm, but inside the station, energy lines hummed softly, signaling a return to normal function. Humans walked through the corridors, checking panels, recalibrating sensors, and documenting every action. They were tired, worn, and yet composed. The danger had passed, but the lesson they had taught the station and the galaxy was just beginning. Evan moved toward the main observation deck, his eyes tracing the distant lights of other stations and ships. Myra followed, carrying a tablet filled with data from the relay. Other humans followed in smaller groups, inspecting, repairing, and confirming stability. Each step they took was careful, methodical, and deliberate. They had faced a threat that could have destroyed the station, and they had done it with calm and intelligence. In the command chamber, the Galactic Safety Council watched in silence. Every member knew what they had witnessed. Humans had faced the station's oldest and most dangerous systems and survived. They had acted when no one else would. They had faced fear and instability without hesitation. Lyra leaned back, her tentacles folded thoughtfully. "We have underestimated them," she said. "They do not act like any species we know. Their reaction to mistakes is unique." Kor, who had been silent for hours, hissed in frustration. "Impossible. They should have panicked. They should have failed. Why are they still alive?" "They survive because they do not see mistakes as endings," Lyra explained. "They see them as warnings, opportunities to act. That is why the relay responded to them and not our automated systems." Outside the station, ships hovered, waiting for signs of safety. Evacuations had been unnecessary, but no one had known it until the humans proved it. Slowly, the council began to issue orders to return ships to their stations. though hesitation and disbelief still lingered in many crews. Inside Clear Ring, the humans continued to work. They replaced damaged panels, secured conduits, and recorded energy patterns for future study. Every human moved with purpose, never rushing, never panicking. Their calm created a sense of stability that spread through the station. Evan knelt at the main relay running final diagnostics. Numbers were normal, panels glowed green, systems hummed quietly. He stood and looked at Myra. "We've done all we can for now. The relay is stable and the station can operate safely." Myra nodded. The station survived a problem no one thought could be managed, all because we stayed calm. The council began to reconsider everything. Reports were written, data analyzed, and new protocols proposed. Humans were no longer low-risk members. They were now classified as unpredictable, yes, but highly reliable in moments of crisis. A new directive was added. When humans are present, systems and species should observe, not assume danger, for humans could handle situations others could not. Evan walked to a large viewing window looking out into the void of space. The stars were steady, distant, and eternal. He spoke softly to Myra. "They thought we would fail. They expected panic, but we stayed calm and solved the problem." Myra smiled, tired but proud. "We always try to fix things, even when everyone else runs." The rest of the human team gathered, checking systems, speaking quietly and sharing nods of acknowledgement. They had faced something that no species had survived before, and they had done it without hesitation. Their actions had changed not just the station, but the perspective of every species watching. In command, Lyra added a final note to the council records. Humans had introduced a new way of problem-solving. Their calm, steady, and deliberate approach to mistakes had prevented disaster. Any species that had underestimated humans would now think twice. On Clear Ring, systems hummed peacefully. Humans moved quietly through the halls, ensuring stability and preparing for the next day. Outside, ships returned, trade routes reopened, and the galaxy resumed its rhythm. Yet a lesson lingered in every mind. When humans say a word like "whoops," it does not mean danger is imminent. It means someone has noticed a problem and is already acting to fix it. Evan and Myra stood side by side, looking at the stars, reflecting on what had happened. The station was safe, the humans had succeeded, and the council had learned something they could not ignore. Finally, a quiet voice came over the comms, faint but confident. "Another system is showing irregular readings. Let's take a look." No one panicked. The station hummed steadily. Humans moved toward the problem as they always did. The galaxy watched, knowing that when humans faced a challenge, calm, intelligence, and steady action would meet it head-on. The stars shone on Clear Ring, and humans continued to change the way the galaxy thought about courage, problem-solving, and the value of a steady hand. From that day forward, whenever humans spoke, aliens listened. When humans acted, the galaxy learned. And in every crisis that came afterward, the lesson remained clear. Humans face danger not with fear, but with calm resolve, proving that even the smallest word could prevent the greatest disaster.